Okay, and we are live on Facebook. Hi, guys. Welcome to Monday Mindset. This is my weekly gift to the group to give you guys a motivation for the week. Mondays are powerful because they really kind of get you into character of that state of being of what your mind is going to be acting out as if throughout the week. I'm just going to double check here, make sure that we are live before I start going off. There we go. Okay. All right. Welcome, guys. Today, hopefully my topic triggered you. I have been a professional life coach for about 12 years now, and every time I meet someone, they are on some sort of journey, including myself, guilty at times. Healing journey, spiritual journey, educational journey. You know, we tend to get the most dopamine from research, from listening, through the idea of becoming. You can actually receive more dopamine in thinking about what you're going to do in the future than actually doing what you say you're going to do in the future. Think about it. The doing part is, oh gosh, now I have to physically get up and act this out. So most people think, oh, I'm going to do that. And they receive the dopamine hit early. And therefore, they don't really, they lose that essence. Also, look at the word venting. When you vent to someone your ideas before they have matured in your imagination and matured into your consciousness, if you give birth to the idea too quickly, venting actually dispels some of the desire. So by even saying it out loud, you can sometimes be met with someone's doubt in you or doubt in themselves, and that can be received as doubt within you. This is why I'm always telling my class, do not share what you're building. Don't share it with anyone, even if they're super close to you, because again, everyone around you is a product of your programming. So they might be Mr. Smith affecting you, which means they might say, you really think that's a good idea? Or they might have alternative motives and see themselves being left behind. So they might not want you to grow. All right. And it's not that they're bad people. It's just misery loves company. And this is, this is the third dimensional world we live in. So we don't want to share that reality that we're building for 4D, that we're going to birth into 5D and 3D. Okay, so is your healing journey killing you? Yes, 100%. If you are on a healing journey, you will never arrive, because you are a conscious being and a creator, which means that whatever you are focused on is what you are becoming. And if you are always on a journey, you're not focused on living in the destination, already existing there, living there, already building the house there, already living and doing laundry in the dream home. If you're still trying to work on the loan and work on the person who could receive a loan, you will never, ever get there. So when I say healing, I'm talking about money. I'm talking about your body. I'm talking about your relationships. I'm talking about anything and everything that has to do with who you believe you are. Okay, I want to see if I have any comments here. Okay, good. I'm gonna keep that right there so I can see you guys if you pop up here. All right, good. So yes, it is killing you, which means that your stress in that journey is going to basically at some point break your body down. When you are a conscious creator, when you are using your God mind, when you are in that God consciousness, you are already healed. You are already arrived. You are already well. You are already rich. You are already married. You are already with your family. You are already there in all the essence of that's true creative freedom. It's very difficult when you are fixated on hows and whens. How am I going to get there? When am I going to get there? So you fixate on what you can do to give you some sort of control, and that's figure out the how and the when. And most of the people that I know who claim to be very spiritual are actually using their imagination to figure out the how and the when. Like, think about, I just talked to a client this morning, and he was trying to figure out how he was going to get this person to pay what they owed him, right? And they were having these fake imagination conversations about what they were going to say to this person to get this debt paid. And that they were using their creative imagination to assume that there was going to be a struggle in the future. Now that might seem rational and responsible to you. Okay, yeah, I've got to figure out how to get this guy to pay, or I've got to figure out how to get this person to pay a bill. And so I'm fixating instead of going, you know what, I'm the commander in chief of this body. I'm the commander in chief of this reality, and it's already paid, which means that I'm already living past the bill being paid, and I'm living in the wish fulfilled, and I'm living already as if I've been paid. Therefore, when I present myself to this person, okay, you have to understand that when you start working in the God consciousness, you become the Jedi Master, right? These aren't the droids you're looking for. You are the commander in chief of this reality, unless you're living in the when and the how. So you have two different imagination sets, okay? You have the world's imagination, which is the how and the when. How am I going to get there? When am I going to get there? Okay. And then you have God's imagination that you can tap into anytime, which is already you arrived in heaven, which is already you where you want to be. It is already the finished product. Because if you were going to study yourself as a finished product, and you were going to disciple yourself after the finished you, which is you complete, you already having, being, doing, living as, if you were going to study that version of you, how they talked, how they walked, how they dressed, how they act, what they listened to, what they ate, how they showed up, how they spent their time, it would be very, very different than studying someone who was trying to get somewhere. Okay. And when you study these greats, when you study the Neville Goddards and the Joseph Murphys and even the Joe Dispenzas and the Bruce Liptons and the Greg Bradens and all of these amazing teachers that have given us tools on how to arrive and utilize the God consciousness within us, not one of them ever said, okay, now focus on and worry about the how and the when. Yet we're devouring hours and hours and hours of content on live, probably the teachers that I just mentioned, and never once have they ever said, try to figure out the how and the when. If you are God embodied, made in the image of Christ, okay, made in the image of God, then your job is to be commander in chief and to realize that no one in your reality has free will to be or do have any control over you unless you are in the world's imagination. When you are in the world's imagination, you are connected to all your old programming, your old core belief systems. You are connected to the problems that the world has that you believe that are not yours. You believe that other people's problems and issues and personalities can actually affect us. And therefore, we feel quite victimized by our own realities. And therefore, we're trying to figure out how to survive it, how to get somewhere, how to go somewhere, how to be something. And we lose out on all of the imagination that of just already having it would feel like, and studying this, the discipleship off of the you, the version of you that is residing in superconsciousness, and you're unaware that your unconscious being that is in lack, that is in poverty, that is in crisis, that is in survival, that is on a healing journey. Really, it's like you can tell someone this, and then you might be living the opposite. So I wanted to give us all a reality check. No, not this reality, the reality that you choose. Reality check time. Okay. Are you on a healing journey? Are you researching the next juice diet that is going to take away your inflammation? Are you looking up what the best possible loans are for you to one day buy your dream house? Are you fighting with a debtor or a collector right now? Are you in some sort of chaos in your relationship because you don't feel seen or heard? Are you trying to educate your partner on who you are? If you are, you're on a journey. You're on a relationship journey to be seen and heard. You know, how many 6-7 hour conversations are we going to have with our partners about who and what we are if we could just live in, you know what, this is already taken care of. And I know this person loves me. I love this person, and I'm going to live in my imagination as if already everything is done and see what unfolds, because you will never actually access your Jedi mind power by needing or wanting anything. Think about when you watch Star Wars, guys. Do the Jedi Masters walk around like, oh, I hope this works out? Or are they the confident, cool ones that walk in the room and everything bows down to what it is that they're doing, and they think that it's them saying that? Do you know that your 3D reality is nothing more than virtual reality of who is in control? The reason why 3D scares you so badly is because you're not in control. The reason why 3D has you by the neck is because you are not the Jedi. Okay. There is some other Jedi that puts the hold on you, and you go submissive to the bills. You go submissive to the problems. You go submissive to the partner who, holds the purse strings. You go submissive to the cancer. You go submissive to the illness. And this was never what you were supposed to do. Okay. Like West Side Connection's the best song. Bow down, right? Like bow down to you. And you think, oh, I don't want to be controlling to my spouse, my kids, my partner. You're not controlling. This is your virtual reality. This is your simulation. This is your video game. This is your world. And if you aren't the leading lady and the actor of your world, who is? Who are you constantly bowing down to? What are you bowing down to? I just finished writing some edits on my book this morning, and it's all about basically you commanding in chief and first and foremost your body, right? Because if you can't control this body, you won't be able to control the reflection that it has on the world. You won't be able to reflect your self-concept coming back at you about what is perceived about your body. Now, it's not body vanity that I'm talking about. It's about being the master in chief of this body, which is your cells, which is your muscles, which is your reactions, which is your desires, which is your hormones, which is your health, right? So this is like your suit that helps you manifest. And so if the God consciousness is not getting the body to submit, who's in control? If you are worried about a health issue, you are not in control. If you are worried about a money issue, you're not in control. And I have just been through all of this. So I sit here and talk like I'm some like, oh yeah, I know what I'm doing. Trust me, this is all very, very new to me. But when I actually have stood in the power of this consciousness and commanded my world, it literally parts like the Red Sea. It's just remembering what we have this power of. It's remembering who we are. It's remembering what we came here to do, right? So I always like to give this reference that, your body it has its own consciousness. And the body consciousness is basically primal, and it is survive. Okay. So if you are not streaming through the body, and the body is not listening to who you are as God, the body is going to be searching for something that resembles God. It's going to be looking for something to complete it, something to feed it, something to fulfill it, something to give it purpose. Okay. So when there's no God presence within the body, your body's going to be hungry. It's going to be unmotivated. It's going to be scared. It's going to be worried. It's going to be on a journey. And the consciousness that is not quite realized. So to me, the spiritual journey is some of your biggest trappings, because when you're on a spiritual journey, you're searching for your spirit, right? You're searching for the God within you. You're searching for divinity. You're searching for proof. You're searching for that feeling of home. You're searching and seeking equals more searching and more seeking. What if you just said, I am. Let me try this on for 3 weeks. Let me try this on for 21 days. I don't even need to believe this is true. I'm just going to practice this. I am. It's done. My body is healed, right? What heals a body anyways? Let's be honest. What heals a body anyways? Life force energy traveling through. Because the same energy that is growing my grass outside is within me. And the only reason part of my body would be hurt or broken was because life force energy wasn't traveling through that part. That's it. Because as soon as life force energy was moving through the shoulder, was moving through the hip, was moving through the joints, okay, inflammation could not exist. Inflammation is a form of protecting itself because infection can occur. There's always infection when there's no flow, when there's no life. All right. So when we put life into the places of our body, that the body feels trapped, stuck, blocked out, right? Guess what? Your body's going to start healing thyself, because there's only two types of spirits, the spirit of life and the spirit of death. And you are either playing the spirit of death, looking for the spirit of life, or you are the spirit of life giving life. That's it. It's so simple when you get on the other side of this, but I truly believe that I had to walk through my own shadow of death in order to get this, because of how stubborn I am, and some of my clients as well. Because I'm not just life coaching you guys, I'm life coaching myself every single day. Like, duh, hello. If I'm on a healing journey, I will never arrive, because what you focus on becomes. So, oh, I'm on a journey. So now you are the state of being of constantly working on healing. You are the state of being of constantly working on getting money, or constantly working on your relationship, or constantly being acknowledged, or you're in the spiritual trappings of, I need to create boundaries because people don't understand me, or I don't like people with low vibes. Guess what? Everything is a mirror. So those people with bad vibes, you, but maybe the form of your consciousness that you don't recognize. You see, a lot of self-concept teachers and law of assumption teachers and teachers that have studied Neville for years, and all the greats, they're missing one important factor in coaching, and that is the unconscious mind. Everyone's focused on the subconscious mind. That's the problem. It's where all the programs are. It's where all the problems are. It's where all the belief systems. But what birthed those programs? What created that identity? What infused to make that personality? Joe Dispenza says, your personal reality, your personality creates your personal reality. Well, where did you get your personality from? You got your personality from unconscious mind. Okay, what makes up the unconscious mind? This is your genetics, this is your bloodline, this is your ancestry, this is your womb activity. What was going on in the womb? Was mom a worrywart? Was she freaked out? Was she traumatized? Did she not feed you? Right? Was she smoking back in the day? What life force energy did not get to you that made up your unconscious mind, that then birthed your subconscious? Because look, let's look at the definition of sub, below the surface. You can see it. You can see your programming. You know where your indoctrination is. You know where your BS is. But the unconscious part of you that birthed the subconscious is where we want to be looking here, not to go on some journey. Okay. All you really have to do is understand that you're playing a game of duality, which means there's a dual part within you. There is the unconscious part of you, and there is the superconscious part of you. The superconscious part of you resides in the heaven of the universe, which is that of God that is already there. Part of you has never left heaven. And there is a part of you that went deep, deep, deep down into smallness or slowness. You slowed your vibration as a spirit down small enough, low enough to get into a physical body, that the physical body is a byproduct of unconscious and subconscious mind, right? Below heaven, unconscious of heaven. So the part of you that doesn't know your God is the unconscious. The subconscious is the part that knows it is, but can't figure out how to get to that place. All right. So your law of assumption is what you assume about yourself chronically, dominantly, that then manifests through people, places, and things that feels like a personal attack on you, but it is coming from you. So the way you can skip all of this and not do a lick of shadow work, okay, is to realize that your only true mastery is this, okay? Father, Son, Holy Spirit, which is the kingdom of heaven, which is the king and the queen, both hemispheres of your brain, the citizens, your cellular body. This is what makes up the kingdom. And you are here to create a heaven within. The kingdom of heaven is within. So when you actually can make the body your personal heaven, when you can make the way you look feel like heaven, when you can make the way it feels feel like heaven, when you are in a state of peace instead of worry, when you are in a space of knowing instead of needing, this is when your kingdom becomes heaven. And therefore, what is above is below, right? What is within is without. You will start to create outside of you a heaven-like environment, because there exists a heaven-like environment within. But when there is doubt and divergence and discouragement and delay and defeat, which is the metaphor of the devil in the Bible, You are faced your greatest opposition. So are you discouraged by your body? Okay. Do you feel defeated when you are doing a bunch of errands and all of a sudden you look up in the self-checkout mirror and you see your mother, right? Or you see not what you think of yourself in the mirror. Do you feel discouraged? Do you feel like this isn't who I am? Right? Do you feel do you feel betrayed by your own body? What I'm working the most with my students this year is to become commander in chief of not the whole entire universe, but the body. You got to walk before you run. And if you really watch Star Wars like a true nerd, I mean, if you're into metaphysics, come on, you have to understand that Luke had to go through his own demons first. He had to get control over this. He was a whiny, tantruming brat in the beginning. And Yoda was like, I mean, literally had to die because of his tantruming. He was just like, I give up. Okay, so it's like looking at that idea of like, you have to face your own demons, right? The devil is within you. It is in your addictions. It is in your complaining. It is in your blaming. It is in your journey, because you will never, ever arrive, right? It's like there are some people who live for the journey. And there are some people who literally take an Ambien and go, wake me up when we get there, because I've already arrived. I'm already swimming in the pool. I'm already living as if. And if you studied the happiest people in the world, they would never be on a journey. They would be living in the present moment, which means if they were on a journey, the journey was never like going to get there. I'm going to get the money and then be. I'm going to fix the body and then wear the bathing suit on the beach. You know, I have life coached thousands of people over my life. And one of the first things that I ask them is, okay, what do you want to create? Where do you want to go? Who is it that you really truly feel like you are? Like if I was going to give you a beach vacation right now, do you know that 40% of my female clients would say no, thank you to that right now? Because believe it or not, the way we feel in our bodies as women is a safety issue. When we don't feel attractive, when we don't feel well, when we don't feel strong, when we don't feel capable, when we don't feel vital, when we don't feel our youth, it triggers a safety issue. And the reason why women don't want to get on a plane or meet their soulmate tomorrow is because they don't like the way they look or feel in their bodies. And that is not superficial. It's getting us back to basics. So what I like to do is I like to take them through quantum fitness, which is my biohacking program. And the biohacking program of quantum fitness that brings us into the Metamorphosis Academy. The Metamorphosis Academy that I created is all about getting your metamorphosis of your mindset, getting you to live and be as the God within you versus striving for, becoming it, studying it, seeking it, healing towards it. It's like you're always trying to lean on something bigger and better instead of just stepping into the shoes. All right. I know it was taken. I know it feels separate. I know we have been forced into believing the opposite of that which we are. But at any given moment, you've studied enough at this point, because if you're watching me, guarantee you've binge watched everybody I just mentioned for days and days and hours and hours and hours and hours. And at some point, how do you just not know everything? All right. Like, I'm not even saying anything you don't know. I'm not telling you anything that you're unaware of at this point, because you've already studied it all. So the thing is by nature, you believe that you are a doing being until you can be. And I am saying that if you want to be, then you can have. It's Yoda, right? It's like you need to be in order to have. And we are no longer in the fake it till you make it. Because what we realized about the fake it till you make it BS of The Secret was that you were superficially acting on your conscious awareness and trying to override with willpower your subconscious and unconscious programming, which is like the ocean. Okay. It's not like a wave that hits you in Florida. It's like a wave that hits you in Costa Rica. All right. It's a different kind of wave. When you are trying to affirm in your conscious awareness over your subconscious and unconscious programming, you won't win, because yes, you might have willpower, but the first trigger that hits, right? You're down and you're rolling in the waves and you can't breathe. And now you don't even remember you were spiritual 5 minutes ago. Now you're just a thug and you're trying to survive and you're manipulating and you're pulling out all your old tricks on your survival mechanisms, and you're shaming and you're blaming. And I know I have done it, because when you fall asleep, you fall back into the old self-concept of yourself, which is someone who has to constantly be, creating boundaries and working on a healing journey and trying to strive and get somewhere. So you're never going to arrive. Your best bet is to work night and day on deprogramming the physical body, right? Becoming commander in chief as the Jedi master of this physical vessel, getting it strong, vital, and under your command, right? What you say it is, right? And we know affirmations work because the brain doesn't care whether something is true or not. It just focuses on focal point, repetition, and direction. So where you're going, what you're looking at, and what you're thinking, right? It's all just need, want, is, right? Which is the Trinity. It is done. Okay. The brain is like, who are we today? I perceive and I receive data based on what I'm getting outside of me, but that's just a reflection of who you were yesterday. If you want to become something new, you're going to have to create the reflection or the idea or the desire from within a memory that is you of the future essence of your higher self, right? Who is she right now? And how do you know what the future you, the arrived you, the complete version of you is doing right now? Ask yourself the question, what would I do if time and money and age and health were not an issue? Which means I already had the money, I already have the body, I already have the relationships, I already have the health. What would I be doing in this now moment? Because what I would be doing would be based on who I am being. So what you're doing right now is based on your state of being. The being creates the behavior. The state of being creates the behavior. So how have you behaved so far this Monday? Did you wake up, jump out of bed and like, I'm God? Or did the first obstacle, forgot to take the trash out, or someone left their shoes in the washing machine? Like, what has already brought you back to the old programming? And so again, if you don't get the old programming out of your mind, okay, then you haven't gotten it out of your body, because the body is the biography of the mind. So whatever is in the mind long enough begins to trickle down into the subatomic spaces. It starts to first move into the blood, which is your mood. Is your blood boiling? Do you have a road rage? Okay. Are you irritated and upset at the world? Is your blood moving in an angry way, or is it barely moving at all? Because what's the point? And it's not fair. Okay. How's your lymphatic system, which is the plasma of your creative essence? Is it stuck, walk, track? Have you taken out the trash today? Right? Are you moving? Are you wiggling? Are you eating less and wiggling more? Or is food your bestest friend? Is it an enemy? Is it hurting you? Because if any of these things that I just said are causing you to be the effect of the cause, you don't realize that you also are the cause. Because cause and effect is I am. All right. Because is state of being, and then the causation, how it produces itself. So who I am, who I believe myself to be, is how I will behave. So watch yourself for 24 hours. Maybe let go of the affirmations, let go of the willpower, let go of the reins, let go of the mirror, and just stand back and watch yourself for 24 hours. This will tell you where your chronic state of being is, which produces your self-concept, which leads to law of assumption, what you assume will happen. If you're having fake arguments, fake scenarios, fake what ifs, you're using the world's imagination. When you use the world's imagination, you are a slave. You're trying to figure out how to trade cigarettes in jail. That's it. If you are in the God consciousness, then you are already outside of jail, living in your new life, and you are using time and space to affirm the body's electromagnetic energy to move into the parallel reality state of the timeline of your desire. It's actually way easier. No shadow work involved. Now, I will say that shadow work is the idea of going back into some core trauma, some core belief systems, some core moments of your life that affected your personality and identification to become a victim or a worried being or being in the poverty mindset. So when we look at fake it to make it, guys, this is the idea of bougie broke. Okay, which I've been teaching a lot about because I think I'm recovering from this state of being. Bougie broke is when you have a poverty lack mindset. And I don't mean poverty in a way where you were on food stamps as a kid, but poverty means that you don't have, your cup is never full. It's always empty. Like you get it, you lose it, you can't keep it. It's always just enough. Somebody won't give it to you. You could even be with a rich guy, but yet you could be in lack. Okay, or you could be with a rich woman and you're in lack. It doesn't matter the dynamic there. That's the poverty mindset that the beginning of your life was, or the fact that you guys always had food on the table, but you weren't allowed to have, or you had too many high restrictions, or even you were over nurtured and you weren't allowed to be yourself can create a lack mindset. Lots of different things create the lack poverty mindset. And then what you did was you never agreed with it. Like me, like I always lived in my imagination. I was like, I'm queen bee, right? But I grew up in a very poverty mindset. Like, we didn't have anything and I was in trouble if I asked, but I still believed that I was worthy. I still believed that I could have. And you can achieve pretty great things with this mindset. You believe on the surface that you are great. You believe on the surface that you can create a lot. You on the surface can create money and status and homes, but it's surface, which means that if you don't fundamentally chase it, work, hustle, well, there's no root or foundation in prosperity. So the second you stop moving forward, the whole bottom falls out, which is basically what happened to me in the last couple of years. And that because I hadn't built the fundamental self-concept of I am, I only had the surface I am, the affirmation. I hadn't gotten the message deep down into my body that I was. I didn't bring the God consciousness all the way through into my subatomic space, which means my bones didn't know who I was, just my mental awareness. You know, I was wearing the clothes, I was living in the house, and I was having the money. But if I wasn't constantly being of service, and chasing the healing world, chasing the healing journey, then basically when I stopped running, I caught up with the past, which is I am not. And so I just spent the last basically 2 years recovering from this mindset through working night and day on the physical body. So what I teach is a little bit different than a lot of the mindset teachers. They're just focused on mindset. But I believe that the mindset is the affirmations need to also be body. Okay, which means what I teach is more of affirmative body programming, or alchemy, which is all of me. And alchemy is the idea of turning that pain into purpose. It's turning lead into gold. It's using the lack to turn it into heaven because of the consciousness. So if you're finding yourself feeling like I am God and then I am not, and I am not enough, and you're wishy-washy all day long, what do you think the body, which is primitive and designed to survive, is going to do with your wishy-washy consciousness? It's going to revert to its default settings. Do you blame it? I mean, kids are just trying to figure out who's in control. And I will say in this new generation, your kids are most of the alphas. They're telling you what to do. They're telling you when you can eat, when you can go on vacation, what you can have. Okay. And so if that's where you're dealing with, you might also want to look at the power you've given up within your own body. When I'm teaching God consciousness, I refer more to professional athletes and 1% of the population who is in their extraordinary living, much more than I'm going to study some yoga teacher who is still getting triggered by their family when they go to, Thanksgiving. And the reason why is because when you are a professional athlete or you are at the top of your game, you have a level of discipline and a winning mindset. Okay, you're always in a winning mindset. You've won the game before you've played the game. You push your body to the limits because it's about getting the body to submit to the will and power of your consciousness of who you say you are. So the way that I do affirmations is through body contraction, through moving the body into submission, through resetting back to factory settings, the genetic coding, through moving through all of the trauma in the physical body stored in the memories and the cells. You see, when you react, trauma does not come through your personality all the times. It comes through reactions. Like you can be such an easygoing person and someone just pushes you to the edge and then rawr, that's your trauma. It's reactive. Okay. And you can cover it up. Like most of the people that I know are the most kind, loving, quiet, easygoing, sweet, beautiful little souls have the most trauma sitting in their bodies. And you don't want to piss them off because it's all going to come out at once. All right. It's going to come out in their relationship. It's going to come out in their money line. It's going to come out in their body health, right? Weight is nothing more than I need to protect myself from the world. I need to protect myself from myself. I need to protect myself from you. And therefore, secondary belief system is, why is no one seeing and hearing me? All right. So there is this dual war. But if you go right to duality and just do the opposite, if you just did the opposite of your childhood, if you just did the opposite belief of the 5 Ds of the devil, if you were just co-virgin and encouraging and you were a winner and you just stayed in that winner mindset, you would have to win because you are law, you are creator. And you may not think you're creating a reality right now. You're not creating the money issue or the problem or the body issue, but you're looking at it and you're trying to fix it and research it and heal from it and complain about it and succumb to it and become submissive to it, gives it power over you. All right. So if you haven't done my quantum fitness program yet, it's all online. It's all biohacking of the physical body. It's a 3-part series. It's pretty deep process. I would say if you're not completely in command over this physical body, that would be a great place for you to start. But if you're like, I've done the work and I'm just looking to build more of that state of being, then my Facebook group, Quantum Metamorphosis Journey group, is where we do group coaching on this. We keep each other accountable. We keep ourselves in the state of the desired wish fulfilled. We work on our self-concepts. We work on our law of assumptions, ideas of what we are assuming. We practice being in the God mindsets. We practice with each other. We hold space for each other, and it really does create a lot of synergy. But if you were kind of like, yeah, I'm still emotionally eating and I still have inflammation and I'm still dealing with arthritis and I'm still carrying this weight, I would say until you are commander-in-chief of this, you will never be commander-in-chief of that because, you know, God consciousness isn't stupid. It's not going to give you power over the whole entire universe if you can't control one body. All right. So it's really about getting off of the journey and getting into the wish fulfilled and living and being. It's be it until you see it. Be it until you see it. Dress for the job you want. Act as if, which means when you are just thinking, right? I am God, I am rich, I am beautiful, I am healthy, I am this. And then someone walks up to you and they don't glance at you. They don't notice you're beautiful. What happens to you? Oh, well, he didn't notice. I must not be beautiful. Now you're questioning yourself. You know, I am rich. And then money's just not coming into the mail. Are you then believing that you are? Right? So the first obstacle is to get this physical body that has its own consciousness that will survive with or without you, okay, to become a faithful servant so that your manifesting powers of your electromagnetic energy, which is in your blood and plasma and bones and marrow, will be working with you so that you feel it as the wish fulfilled. You live it in your heart, and then you materialize it into physical essence, which feels like you're manifesting it, but ultimately you're moving into a parallel reality where you never had the cancer. You're moving into a timeline where you never got a divorce. You're moving into the timeline where you never were a smoker. And it's too hard for the linear brain to understand that. So most manifestation teachers teach about it coming towards you, but everything is actually birthed from you because everything is you pushed out. So this is your Mindset Monday. Get off of your spiritual journey and get into your God conscious journey, which is I am. Get off of your healing journey and decide, pick a side, that you are well and do not break character. And if you need help on that, we have our quantum fitness program that I will put all the details in the links of this page. And we also do private mentoring, and we have our group coaching. It's $23 a month. There's probably 10 or 12 live coaching sessions in there. I teach Imagineering in there, which is basically you learning how to disciple off of the which is the God consciousness, which is you already arrived, how to disciple off of you, the higher you. And lots of meditations, lots of guidance, lots of group conversations. You can just eavesdrop in there for 9-10 classes before you join live. You can jump in live and ask questions every week. It's Wednesdays at 1 o'clock Central Time. It's $23 a month, and it's worth it for sure. But if you're ready to go hard and heavy, quantum fitness is the way to go. If you're wanting to, I'm not a good mirror for myself, I need help, reach out. One of our mentors and our team can facilitate that for you. We've got some amazing talent that's come through this program already. And again, like I said, it's not like we know everything, but we are focused on mastering the body to get you to the Jedi master mindset. Therefore, the whole world will become your parting of the seas. You will become the Moses, and you will say, move, and everything will move. Because what we're seeing in our classrooms are that we're thinking the thoughts and we're literally hearing it channeled back to us. We're feeling the presence of having, and it's coming towards us, which means no more chasing, no more manipulating, no more waiting for the right time to ask your husband if you can go to a retreat. No more, oh, I hope my girlfriend gets on her spiritual journey. No more of that. You are commander in chief. And once you take control of this and command it through the Jedi mind, then it will be everything that you have. You know, I'm 48 years old, going on 49, 4 kids, and I've had fibromyalgia. I've had the migraines. I've had an eating disorder. I've had the emotional eating. I've hated my body. I've struggled with body dysmorphia my entire life. And the last 3 years, I have focused, let the whole world go and focus on this. And as soon as I started to command this, everything else just fell into place. So it might be in the area where you're not looking. Get off of the spiritual teachings and get into this body, because the embodiment of the God consciousness is what 5D is explained. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you got a nugget. I hope a little kick in the butt. I hope a little reminder if this is all not new information to you. And if you're ready to do the work, we're here. This is what this revolution community is about. It's about you being the revolution of yourself and you taking back your power. You get an injustice wound, it's coming from this, right? You probably feel betrayed by your own body, and therefore you're going to feel betrayed by your government. So this is time for us to take command, take responsibility, the ability to respond, look within, and start at home. Because if it resonates, that means that it's a resonant. So bring it home, bring it into your consciousness, and work on the best investment that you'll ever have, which is you. And that's short for universe. All right, guys, thank you for joining me. And I will see you next week, or I will see you in the classroom for non-duality masterclass this week, which is Wednesday at 10 a.m. Or I will see you in the private Facebook group, the coaching metamorphosis group. That is Wednesday at 1 o'clock Central Time. Or I will see some of those mentor students in person. See you soon. Bye, guys.